Says it's streaming live.
It does?
I got a note up here on my screen that says the meeting is now streaming live on Facebook.
Excellent. Perfect. It looks like it's finally opened up on my end as well. So you must have a higher internet connection. Good morning and happy Monday. Thank you so much for tuning in to our daily COVID-19 video series. I am Juliette Abdel, President and CEO of the Westminster Chamber of Commerce. If this is your first time on our page, please like and follow us. Please also find us on other social media platforms on Instagram and Twitter at WestD Chamber as we continue to churn out updates and various resources to our business and overall community during this time. I'm delighted to have with me our mayor, Mayor Herb Atchison, and we've been doing this is our third time hosting these mayoral updates. And Mayor Atchison comes on here, he shares some of the resources that he's been privy to, information that he's been made aware of, and things that he's been involved with kind of creating in response to COVID-19. So I'm delighted to have him again with us on this Monday snowy morning, and I hope you're tuning in from your warm environment at home. Without further ado, I'll have Mayor Atchison share with us some updates and hopefully get some questions answered.
Well, good morning, Juliette. And as we were talking about, it is nice to be here in the warm of the house instead of outdoors, but we do have people out still working on our streets and stuff. You know, one of the things that we wanted to talk about this morning is the city's launched their program called RISE, and this is our Westy RISE Business Grant Program. The City of Westminster is committed to the local economy, and the City Council wholeheartedly supports the immediate action to help businesses mitigate these unprecedented challenges in these unprecedented times. Last Monday, the City Council voted unanimously to support a $1.5 million small business relief fund to help qualifying businesses with rent and mortgage payments as a result of hardship from the COVID-19 pandemic. The Westy RISE Business Grant will be awarded to qualifying Westminster businesses that have been impacted economically by the COVID-19 pandemic. Applications opened up this morning at 8 a.m. and I checked in about 9:30 and we had over 100 applications that had already been filed this morning.
Wow.
All the details on how to apply for the grant and how to know if your business is eligible are on our economic development website. And I'll try to give you the website address a couple of times during our conversation today. But basically, you go to www.westminstereconomicdevelopment.org. We encourage you to go online and view all the details of the grant program, but I want to hit a few of the highlights. The Westy RISE Business Grant may be used by qualifying businesses to satisfy fixed costs stemming from monthly rental and mortgage payments. Funds would come as a one-time grant that would be equal to lesser of 50% of each of 2 months' rent or mortgage payments, or $7,500. This is a grant, not a loan, meaning you do not have to pay it back. Grants for eligible business will be awarded on a first-come, first-served basis, subject to funding availability, and applications will only be accepted until May the 30th of 2020. The grant program eligibility period includes the first 2 monthly rent or mortgage payments due between March 17th and May 30th. Monthly rental payments eligible for the grant include monthly base rent and any rent-related expenses such as common area maintenance or reimbursement for insurance, utilities, and taxes that may be part of the normal rent. Monthly mortgage payments eligible for the grant include principal and interest. Now, the next question would be is, how do you know if your business qualifies? To qualify a grant, a business must meet for the following criteria. Businesses have been forced to temporarily close or forced to dramatically limit operations due to the state's public health orders. Business must have been in operation for at least 6 months prior to the application date, with a physical address located within the City of Westminster. Businesses must have an active Westminster business license. Businesses applying for a grant must be a small business and may have no more than 50 full-time equivalent positions. Businesses with more than one physical location in the City of Westminster may apply for the grant program for one location only. For purposes of estimating FTEs, the FTE count shall be based only on the specific location applying for the grant. Corporately owned national chains may not apply for the grant program. Businesses must be in good standing with the City of Westminster as of March the 1st of 2020. What do you need to do to apply? Businesses interested in applying will want to have the following materials ready and available to submit for their application. Support from the monthly rental or mortgage payment amount, such as an executed lease agreement or mortgage coupon, Westminster business license number, and a current signed IRS W-9 form for the business applicant. Again, I will encourage you to check all the details on our economic development website at www.westminstereconomicdevelopment.org. And to repeat a couple of items that we've talked about each week, and this is one that Juliet and I were talking just before we went live. We have already seen some potential scams out on the SBA loan programs. I would encourage you to be very careful. Go to sba.gov/PPP and for your payroll protection program. Now, the thing that we were looking at this morning is this past Friday, the SBA program for 1099 recipients and independent contractors was scheduled to open. We have not been able to verify as of this morning that that program actually got open. We are still searching. But as Juliet and I were talking earlier, we found that SBA.com had a number of links up, and we believe those to be scams. So please check your website address when you go in and where you log into. I remind you also to our residents and to the small businesses that have employees that are having struggles because of financial situations now, that our renter assistance program through the Colorado Legal Services is still available for Westminster residents, and we encourage you to use those programs. Juliet, that's about what I have right now.
Yeah, so a lot of great information. I think it was a timely resource for the City Council to vote and approve this this fund to support our area businesses. So I do have a couple of questions that I wanted to throw at you related to the program. So we shared that this is a fund that you can apply for that's a grant. So we are encouraging still businesses to apply through the SBA and PPP if that's of their interest, and to also apply to this grant as well, and not necessarily choose between either or. Is that correct?
That is correct. We want you to apply to both.
Now, as far as, we briefly talked about just the overload and the demand that's happening right now on our banking industry. They're receiving so many applications for these federal loans. And with us just launching this city effort within, we mentioned this was just launched this morning, and we have well over 100 applications. How do you foresee the quick turnaround or the timeline for approval of those loans?
Well, most of that's going through a group of staff employees and some from outside sources. They'll be reviewing each of those, but most of it is just if you meet the qualifications, you're going to get the money. But you have to provide all the data that they're looking for. Right now, we're anticipating that the $1.5 million will be an amount that will carry us for a while. But if that fund becomes drained or becomes about out of funds, then the council will take another look at it along with our financial situation here in the city to see if we can replenish it. This is not meant to be a long-term carry, is to try to help you through this immediate period.
And I think that's emphasized when you shared exactly what we can apply it towards. So is this something that, if, for example, would someone be able to apply for the grant if they're just covering costs of goods, if they're, anything that's not necessarily a fixed cost?
To my understanding, it's the fixed cost pieces that you have to apply for. But again, the best thing I would tell you to do if you have any questions at all, go to the website. There is an opportunity to ask questions there, and they can give you more specific details.
Absolutely. And, to reiterate what Mayor Atchison was sharing, we have come across so many other websites that are legitimately focused on resources for the common good. So be sure that you're paying attention to where you're giving your information and your privacy, so that you're not sharing it with people that might cause more harm than good for you. So is there anything else that you wanted to kind of share, Mayor Atchison, as far as any efforts within the community that you're looking to get engaged on, or just a message that you would want people to be mindful of?
Well, I would continue to remind people to, if at all possible, do like Juliet and I are doing, do it remotely, stay at home. The sooner we can get the curve to flatten out, the more likelihood is that there is a potential of returning to some level of normalcy. But folks, I will tell you, do not expect the gates to open up wide on the day the governor says we can go back to work. I fully anticipate he's going to do a graduated return. However, we do not know what that's going to be at this point. We still have until the 26th under the current stay-at-home order. We have not seen the peak. In my calls with the locals, other mayors, our state groups, and to our hospitals that we have on a weekly basis, we've not seen the peak. It's still to come. And some experts are telling us it's 2 to 3 weeks out. It could even be 4 weeks out. We have seen the incline go down a little bit, but we have, I think the last number I saw over the weekend was over 200 deaths. But whatever number that is, that's too many. We need people to be very cautious, to be safe, go out when you need to, make sure you're wearing a mask if you go out in public. Homemade masks look very nice. Regardless of the style, they still work. So please think about the others that you may come into contact with as you're out in the public. Protect yourself, but protect them as well. We ask everyone just to be patient, keep doing things that we're doing to be protective of our families, and sort of enjoy the time with your family because you get to spend a lot of it now.
That is true. You spend a lot of it and you get to test a lot of limits for sure. We have Peter thanking you, Mayor, for this information, Joshua as well for the information and your leadership, and Robin. And just to kind of reiterate the mayor, you know, this is constantly changing and there are so many updates along the way. I know we were visiting about Mayor, our governor, sharing kind of an update at some point today. And so between the mayor, myself, and the chamber and the city of Westminster, please be sure that you're checking for the resources. The information about the grant, we'll post a link here on this video so you have access to it. We'll also post it through our ends, but definitely it'll be redirecting you to the economic development site so you can learn more about that program, how to apply and go about it. And if there's any questions that you have for Mayor Atchison or the chamber or the city, please be sure to come back and comment on this video. I have the privilege of hosting our mayor every week on Monday, and I would love to carry on those conversations and questions into our next videos if need be. So I know this was kind of short, it was to the point, but I think it was probably our most powerful video since our last couple because it's tangible. We're directing you to something that can provide you and your business. So with that being said, thank you so much, Mayor Atchison, and thank you everyone for tuning in to our videos. Be sure to hop back on here tomorrow at 11 a.m. for updates from our Jefferson County Commissioners on what Jeffco is doing in wake of COVID-19. Thank you so much, Mayor Atchison.
Have a good day.
You as well.